So the little African child comes into the school and the teacher says, don't talk that way because that's not correct, that's not proper. But the child is speaking that way because the child wants to identify with her culture, with her Africanness, with her spirituality. She may not know that consciously, but that's what she's doing. The teacher, on the other hand, wants her not to identify with that. So the teacher says, or, you know, implicitly, what the teacher is saying, you want to be smart? You want to do well? You want to gain access to truth? Get rid of that part of you. Start being more like me if the teacher is indeed European, or if it's an African person who has bought that picture of being European and being smart, or being Europeanized in that sense. So what I'm saying is that the whole concept of truth, which is based on this concept of objectification, teaches us not to trust our intuition. The intuition is knowledge that comes from within, okay? The African self is the self within. So as you're learning this concept, the higher you go in the school system, the more you are put in denial of your African self, the more you are alienated from your African self.
Which can create what kinds of problems?
Well, politically, obviously, it creates a problem. Because then when you translate that politically, you also are saying, well, my allegiance is not to, you know, to my African people. It's just to some kind of universal good or something. You know, suddenly you become depoliticized. But also it puts you in conflict with yourself, and you can never be whole. In order to be healed, you have to be whole. And as long as you are alienating the core of your being, then you're insane.
You say a gifted African is what?
A gifted African is a
African child.
A gifted African child is a child who expresses the African genius.